Hey, hello again, and welcome to Portland, Oregon. KPDX by Mr. X6, not Mr. X1 through 5, Mr. X6. He makes amazingly good scenery, and we're going to fly out of here on a very, very short hop today to Seattle. And the reason why I'm doing this is not really because this is a flight one would ordinarily take. That is the IXEG 737, by the way. We're an X-plane 10.5 Beta 7. The reason why this flight is on the books is so that I can try out a little nasty little arrival that I saw smaller planes doing and military planes doing, and that is the overhead pattern, or the overhead brake pattern. And it's mainly used to get airplanes down and around and close to the airport very, very quickly for a whole variety of reasons, including when you're flying in formation. And let me show you what it looks like, and this is why it's so cool. This is not a standard civilian traffic pattern. It also limits your exposure to fire from the ground, among other things, and is supposedly good in that it limits your exposure to an engine failure. However, it seems a little bit odd in the sense that an engine can fail anytime, including in cruise, so why not have a stabilized descent? But I am not a professional pilot, so I don't know, and I don't have that kind of experience. But at any rate, here's what it looks like. Let me just see if this will play for you. If it doesn't, apologies. It will not play full screen. It'll just freeze when I record with my recording software. But you're basically flying along the runway, and at a predetermined point, depending on how fast, how big your airplane is, how quickly it slows down, how fast it turns, you'll brake to the left or the right, and you'll do a 180-degree turn. You'll look for the edge of the runway, and then at that point or after a certain point, depending again on how fast you're going, how big your plane is, how quickly it slows down, and all the rest of that, you'll make another 180-degree turn and roll out on pretty short final. So, I've been practicing this. I've yet to perfect it. I've recorded it 3 times, and each time X-Plane's crapped out on me because this is a beta. So let me show you what it looks like. Here we go. And pilots enjoy doing this. Listen. Now, unfortunately, the person shooting this points his or her camera down just a little bit here, but you'll get the picture. So that's the first 180, and of course in this airplane, which is an aerobatic plane, you can make that turn very, very fast. Alright, so now they look and they're, well, you'll see in a second. There is the second airplane. The first one is already over the numbers, I think. And here they come. And that is pretty sweet, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to fly a localizer approach. We'll break it off. We'll take control of the airplane, and we'll fly a military left brake overhead pattern. Anyway, so we've got our fuel loaded in. We've got a route set. Everything is kosher here. We're going to cruise at 160. Our route is in. Just get our trim set up here. Flaps are going to be flap 5. We've already bugged our bugs. Trim should be about 3.4. We're pretty light. Get ourselves into map mode, please. Controls. There we go. All right, trim, rudder trim, aileron trim. neutral. Already done a control system, a flight control check. Pardon me. Just square up our heading bug. We're going to fly a modified, which departure are we flying? We're going to fly a modified Lava 6 and then a modified Olympia 1, and then we're going to come in on runway 34 left, and alright. Altimeter should be about 3003, but let's check. Might have changed last few minutes, so you see we're coming out this way and just going that way. Alright, 3001. Well, it's good to check. Alright, and other than that, I think we'll just try and go. Auto brakes are on RTO. Auto throttle is set. Flight director is on. Captain's priority. Heading select mode. We'll just climb straight up to altitude because we're going to be coming right back down. Alright, that is done. And I think we can get out of Dodge. Parking brake. It should come off. Just check my brakes. Pardon me. Apologies. Right toe brake, left toe brake. That's good. No? Do I have hydraulics? Do I? Is everything good? It is. Right. Let's just cycle that, put it back on, and now, nope, still doesn't work. Okay, well, let's just see if our brakes work. Okay, our brakes do work. And now, because I'm getting superstitious, let's check our controls again. They work. And they work. Alright, well, don't know why that is, but shouldn't be. Speed brakes are down. Everything is good to go. Auto throttle is armed. Heading select is selected. Speeds are bugged. Throttles are stood up. Toga is engaged and enunciating. Takeoff power is set. Airspeed's alive, 80 knots. And there we go. As you can see, we're very light. We'll go gear up, trim down, and enjoy the glories of hand flying this airplane. There we go. Alright, we'll go into LNAV mode. Start our turn. Let the nose come down a little bit and start bringing our flaps. Ah, what a beautiful plane to fly. This and the Mighty Dash in Prepared are really the two best hand flying big airplanes I know of. Alright, so we'll speed up to 200. Level change, popping the autopilot now. Bring up our speed. And let's see if VNAV works. Well, it seems to work. Not a bad looking airplane, huh? I believe that's I-5 down there, but I'm not sure. We're coming right over the Columbia River Gorge, and then we're going to turn north. And here's our turn. All right, so far so good. And let's look at our descent. We should be right coming up on our top of climb right there. And pretty soon afterwards, our top of descent. Looks nice. Looks very nice. Wow. I know I shouldn't be saying wow while I'm flying an airplane, but wow. And as you can see by our rate of climb, we are very light. I've also set a pretty high cost index. So we're going to be going expeditiously, and our pressurization is good. And we are good. And we're coming up on top of climb early. Alright, so we're going to fly along the Columbia River for about 20 miles, in essence over Vancouver, Washington, and we're going to fly right by Southwest Washington Regional County Airport in Kelso, or is that Rainier, or Rainier? I don't know. That's Mount Rainier right there. And there is the river. Wow. All I can say is wow. Not too damn bad. Must be nice to fly this in a small piston plane at about 5,000 feet. I believe that's just an audio glitch and nothing breaking on the airplane. Alright, there we go. All right, we're 79 miles away from, in essence, our initial approach fix. More like where we're going to intercept the localizer. I'm going to set our altitude for 5,000. And we'll see how it does. It says TOD in 45 miles, so we're almost there already. So let's see, 45 miles. That means 30 miles, 40 miles to come down 7,000 feet. That is certainly doable. Now we're gonna enter this maneuver deliberately fast and deliberately high, probably about 3,000 feet, and probably about 230 knots. But the turns will give us enough sink and enough distance to slow down and get low, so it shouldn't be a problem. This shouldn't be an aerobatic maneuver, but it's going to be a kind of tight maneuver. And I am not sure how well I am going to do at it, but the last 3 times I've tried it, it's worked out reasonably well. Alright, top of descent in 30 miles. Alright, there's our TOD. Get our localizer set. It's going to be a course of 343. All right. Tell you, that looks pretty damn good. Well, until it turns into a slideshow, it does. Still, that's pretty impressive. All right, we're going to limit our view, I guess, out the front then. Let's get our landing speeds ready. Delete this right here. We'll do that. So about 137. Get rid of these two. That'll be our V app right there. Excuse me. And that'll be a perfectly fine V climb, and we'll just make that our cleanup speed, get our local weather. 3002. A little bit of a crosswind, but not much. 4 knots from our right. No, from our left, sorry. You know what? Maybe that was Mount Hood back there, and this is Mount Rainier right there. I'm waiting to hear from Seattleites and Portlandians. Alright, and we will see whether it starts demanding drag at some point. It probably will, but we'll see. Ground speed of 372, so we'll probably want to go down at least 2,000 feet per minute. Tell people to sit down. It's kind of beautiful scenery. I know you can make ortho scenery for this, but to make it photoreal, but I don't really see the need. It just looks damn good. Alright, so let's bring our scale down a little. Set auto brakes 2. And we're going to look for this to say retard and look for the levers to move. And there they go. There's our profile. Alright, and it is pitching us down at about 2,000 feet per minute, which is reasonable to get us where we need to go. And we'll just enjoy the view for a minute or two here. It really is quite good. This is something that Prepared doesn't quite do. The trees always seem comically large, and some of the textures are not great, although they're much better in Orbix. What's usually not great are things like this. Beaches, borders, river banks, things like that, and the roads all seem like dirt roads instead of asphalt. On the other hand, when you get up close to X-plane trees, they look really terrible, whereas when you get up close to either Prepared or Orbix trees, they look great. See, now this is what I don't like, is the wandering throttles up and down here, but so be it. They're working on it. And we're coming into Puget Sound. We'll fly almost over McChord Air Force Base, or Joint Base McChord, or whatever they're calling it these days. And Vashon Island will be on our left. So will the Tacoma Narrows immediately before that. Alrighty. Bring our scale down here. So what will happen is, shortly, we'll intercept the localizer, and I will descend us manually to, say, 3,000 feet. And, pardon me, when we get over the field, we'll disconnect all the automatics, and we will just fly the pattern. Alright, now I'm guessing right now it'll ask us for a drag. It might not. It's going to slow us below 250. Get our lights ablazing. So far, so good. We're a little high on the profile, but that's okay. We've got 17 miles to come down, another 4,000 feet, give or take. So that is doable. That is eminently doable. What I don't like is in a second it's going to start to shove the throttles forward instead of pitching us a little bit and descending us a little early. Those red lights, by the way, are normal. Whenever the throttles roll back and we're descending, they'll light up to remind you that just in case you've forgotten to do it on final, that you kind of want to do that. But they do that regardless because they simply respond to throttle position and I think descent rate probably. And we're 26 miles out and counting. We are on profile. We are looking good. It'll just be the tricky problem of hand flying shortly, but we'll get around it. All right, so here we go. Are we seeing the localizer yet? We are not. But that's okay. We have miles to go before we sleep. Yeah, you know what? Let's come down to 4,000. Just put a floor of 3,500 on it. Put a floor of 3,000 on it. Alright, we'll hope that that does not persist. Scenery loading, weather loading, stuff loading. Alright, that's McCord, if I'm not mistaken. There's our localizer. Let's get into VOR loc mode right now. And we got it. And get into level change, bring our speed down to about 225. And those be the Tacoma Narrows, and that's Tacoma Narrows Airport. That's the tip of Vashon Island right there. A little bit of a crosswind right now from our left. Not a lot. Something to think about when we make the turn. Again, excuse my cough. Alright, we are comfortably below the glide slope right now. That's okay. And we're still coming down, so I'm going to leave off the flaps for the moment. Get my throttles squared up here. Alright, about 10 miles away. This is actually not the prototypical shit-hot arrival that would precede one of these 360s, but give ourselves time to mentally prepare. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll us into about a 50-60 degree bank. I will put in flaps 5 here. That is the airport right there. I hope the weather cooperates. If we've got a low fog, it's going to be inconvenient, but there you have it. All right, so let's come down to 2,500. And when we get over the runway, we'll pick a spot and we will brake left. And you know what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set our heading bug to 163. Basically the reciprocal. Alright, so now let's get ready to take control. Excuse me. Okay, we will brake when we're midfield. And we'll go autopilot out, flight director out, auto throttle off. All right, right about now. Now, the first part of the maneuver is losing speed. So we'll hold the nose reasonably up, right about there. Actually gaining a little bit of altitude. Okay, we'll look to roll out in 1 second. Right about now. There we go. Roll out there, look for the runway. Okay, it's right behind us. Gear down. Trim up, start bringing in our flaps. Start slowing down. And turned a little tight, but here we go. Now those buildings really should not be there. They just should not.
300. 2 sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
All right, speed brakes up. Reversers out or in, depending on how you like to look at it. And welcome to Seattle. Now, what we did was we got a little bit over exuberant with the second 180. So, something to bear in mind. But it does tell me one thing. It tells me that we can actually do an even tighter maneuver in the future. So that ain't entirely bad. And with that, we'll bid you a fond farewell, and we'll try more stupid airplane tricks in the very near future. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks especially to my new subscribers, and to everyone who's been writing in. So see you again real soon.